Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Jamie Millar, PGA Teacher Professional, and today we're going to be discussing golf balls. Namely, we're going to be checking out the differences between a premium golf ball and a more budget-conscious option. We're going to be looking at the differences between them in terms of performance, what's the difference between them in makeup, and what's the difference, or what difference is it going to make to your game. Let's get into it. So for today, I've chosen the TaylorMade Distance Plus golf ball. These are really popular in our shop here at Knot End, and you can get 3 for £5. So decent option for a budget conscious golfer. And also we've got the TaylorMade TP5. The reason I've chosen that one is it's kind of the complete opposite end of the spectrum to the TaylorMade Distance, and also Rory McIlroy uses these ones, I believe, so let's find out why he might use them over this particular option. Let's highlight some of the differences, what they could do for your game, and then let's compare the data, but then I want to take it out on the golf course as well to see if there's actually any difference when I go out and play. I'm going to put the golf balls to their paces now, trying to highlight the biggest differences that we find between them. I'm going to collect this data off camera. If there's anything obvious that pops up that I feel like you might need to know, I'll come back and show you. Otherwise, let's discuss the biggest differences between the golf balls and their physical characteristics and what that might do to performance. What are the actual physical differences between these two golf balls? Well, we'll start on the outside. TaylorMade have made their distance ball with an ionomer cover, whereas their TP5 is a urethane cover, which is what you get for most premium golf balls. We tend to find that these interact with the golf club a lot better than the ionomer. However, TaylorMade are saying that their ionomer cover is enhancing greenside feel. And to be honest, during testing, I didn't notice any real difference between the two in terms of feel. However, if anything, I'd say the distance ball sounded a little bit more clicky, so maybe felt a little bit harder. But outside of that, there wasn't much difference at all. TaylorMade also saying that the ionomer cover just enhances durability, so it's less resistant to, or more resistant, sorry, to scuffing and that kind of thing. But they both held up really well throughout testing, and there's no obvious differences in terms of overall durability in the two of them. So I've got you back here a little bit earlier than I expected. Still collecting data with the distance golf ball at the moment, and what I'm noticing, and what I noticed my first shot actually, was that the ball launched really high very quickly. So typically I would see my 58 degree, which is the club I've got here, launch around about 25 to 28 degrees with my normal golf ball. But with this distance golf ball, I'm seeing the ball launch quite a bit higher. So up at that one there was that 37 degrees of launch. What that tells me is the golf ball is just kind of slipping up the face rather than gripping onto the face and getting pushed forwards. I kind of expected to see that when it came to the distance golf ball. What that might mean for you is if the ball is slipping up the club face, if we add any moisture or grass in there, and we're already losing friction on the club face, judging the distance of the shot may be quite difficult because we're taking away control over what the ball is doing off the club face and losing it not only here but losing it down the far end as well because we're uncertain how that ball is going to react when it comes off. Okay, just about to start collecting some data with the premium golf ball on the 50-yard shot now. I'm expecting to see about 10 degrees of difference in terms of launch with this golf ball and probably, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 RPM of difference in spin. What I'm hoping that'll add up to for me is a lot more control over landing or stopping power, meaning I can be a bit more aggressive with my targets in terms of how close I land to the hole, and then get it to stop a bit quicker as well, rather than relying on bounce and roll to get me close. Fraction hard. You can see that landed on the green and stopped very quickly. The launch angle on that one was 29.5, so a bit higher than I would normally expect to see, to be honest, with the golf balls that I use. But spin rate up quite a bit higher, almost double some of the shots that I was hitting before. And that ball landed at 56 yards and stopped at 57, so I'm only getting a yard of rollout, whereas I was getting probably like 4 or 5 yards of extra rollout when it came to the distance golf ball. So once you get past the cover, what else are you getting in the premium golf ball that you're not getting in the budget-friendly golf ball? So what you'll find is with the distance ball, and this is the same with any brand, once you get past the cover, you get to the core of the golf ball. So these distance golf balls tend to be 2 pieces. It's got a cover and then the core. Whereas when we go to the more premium golf ball, you get the cover and then you get a few mantle layers and then the core. With the TaylorMade, you're getting sort of 3 outer mantles and then the core. Most premium golf balls that you get are either 3 or 4 layers. TaylorMade try and differentiate themselves by having 5. Having 5 layers to the golf ball feel like that gives them the most options, or the best opportunity, create the right spin and launch conditions depending on the shot you're trying to hit. They try and get around this two-piece issue by making the core softer on the inside and firmer on the outside, or vice versa, trying to give themselves some way of getting the golf ball to react differently depending on the shot we're trying to hit. So those are the main physical differences we get between the two golf balls. I'm going to try out a different shot here with both these golf balls. It's a shot that I would play if I wanted to try and add a little bit of extra stopping power, a little bit of extra spin. The reason I don't play this shot all the time is because I find that I'm not as consistent with it in terms of my distance control and my strike, but it is a good option for me to have if I need when you got to try and stop the ball a bit fast. So it's just a bit of a more specialized shot, but I want to see how both balls perform when we play this shot. First up is going to be the distance ball. Let's see how we go. Oh, it went high. Yeah, I mean it stopped pretty quick, to be fair. Try it one more time. Didn't spin anymore, but it definitely stopped quick, but it went a lot higher. So using the height to stop the ball faster. Try one more time, see if I can get a strike on it again. That's a really good strike. Again, it's gone very high. Didn't stop as quickly as I would have expected given the strike. Spin rate didn't go up, but again the launch angle went up, so I'm getting a little more stopping power from a bit of kind of a flop shot basically. Let's try it with the premium ball. See how this one gets on with the slightly higher spinner. Oh, struck it well. Nowhere near as high as the other one. Give that a little bit of check up as well. So you can see that stopped faster. Spin rate definitely went up. Launch angle went up as well, so we're stopping it with a bit more height as well as a little bit more spin. But even that, with the extra height, was still launching lower than the cheaper option golf ball, the distance ball. Okay, I'll try that one more time. See if we can get the same kind of result. Yeah, that was pretty good. Not quite as hard, but stopped real quick again. So you should have seen on screen there the ball actually backed up a little bit. So spin rate went up. Launch angle didn't particularly go up. Like with the distance ball, the ball launched higher and stopped quicker because of the extra height. This one, the ball is launching kind of similar to what it was before, but it's stopping quicker with extra spin. 9-iron now. You don't need to watch this. I'll just collect the data, and then if anything interesting pops up, I'll bring you back in. I'm going to start off with the premium golf ball on this one. See how we get on. Right, nothing to report from the 9-iron shots as outrageous, so we're moving on to 6-irons now. Not sure if we're going to see any separation here. I'm not expecting to see much separation here. In fact, again, they may stay very similar, just like the 9-irons, but let's hit some shots and see how we get on. Okay, last collection point now. We're on to driver. Let's see how they compare. Generally speaking, when it comes to driver, every golf ball performs kind of the same, so I'm not really expecting to see much difference or separation here. But let's hit a few shots with each golf ball and find out. Okay, so that was really interesting. I've never done a test like that before myself, and I really wanted to see the differences between the two golf balls when it came to each of the variety of shots you can hit. There were some surprises there, but also some that weren't so surprising as well. Let's dive into the numbers and check out what I mean. Driving out, so have a look at the driver ball speed, exactly the same. Launch angle was slightly different, slightly higher with the distance ball, which actually worked out to a slightly higher peak height. Spin rate's almost identical, 20 RPM on average, and then the standard deviations crossing over as well, so basically the same golf ball off the driver. 3 yards extra distance in the distance golf ball, probably coming from the fact that it launched slightly high and peaked out slightly higher, so it's just holding in the air for a little bit longer. But overall, off the driver, those golf balls are basically exactly the same. 6-iron next, so looking at ball speed, again, actually slightly higher on the TP5 compared to the distance. Now, I did notice that I hit a couple with the TP5 slightly further left than I did with the distance golf ball, so got the club face a bit squarer to the path. Potentially that's where the extra ball speed came in. It wasn't as deflected a blow as potentially I was hitting with the distance one on average. Spin rates, actually on average slightly higher with the distance ball. However, standard deviation of the TP5 quite a bit wider, so meaning that I would get some higher spinning golf ball, higher spinning shots, but also maybe some lower spinning shots as well. It netted out at a slightly longer carry with the TP5, potentially down to the roughly same spin rate, but higher ball speed. So 198 yards carry with the 6-iron TP5 and 193 with the distance ball. The distance ball peaking out again a bit higher, like it did with the driver. Slightly higher launch angle on the distance golf ball. That may come from that cover not gripping as well onto the golf club, just slipping up the club face a little bit, launching the golf ball a little bit higher. However, spin rates basically the same, so overall performance-wise, seeing that those two golf balls, again, very similar on those kind of shots. Basically the same golf ball when it came to these shots. Actually, the TP5 in this situation, going slightly further, spinning slightly less, launching a little bit higher and peaking out a little bit higher as well. Whether that's down to the way I struck it or whether that is just that's how the golf ball works, hard to say. Standard deviation is very similar on everything. I just tended to launch the TP5 slightly higher compared to the distance ball in this situation. What's really interesting to note is that all those shots were full swings and they all performed very similarly. Credit to TaylorMade and then in turn other manufacturers in the way that they create that core where they change the gradient from firmer to softer or softer to firmer to try and get it to react the same way they would with a premium golf ball, and doing a very good job as we see play out there. Move on to the wedges, and I'm thinking this is where we're going to see the major difference. So this is a part of the test where we kind of expected to see differences, and you could sort of tell as soon as I hit that first one with the distance golf ball, the ball was flying different to what I'm used to seeing when it comes to my wedge shots, launching quite a bit higher and definitely spinning a lot lower as well. So when we look at the results, you're seeing that the TP5 was spinning at around about 7,500 RPM, the distance ball at 4,500, so we're looking at over 3,000 RPM of difference in terms of overall spin rate. In the end, the TP5 was launching lower and spinning much higher, and we saw this bear out in terms of the overall total and then, carry and then total distance that the golf ball went. So the TP5 carrying 52 yards and finishing at a total of 53 yards, and then the distance plus ball carrying a total of 53 yards and running out to a total of 57 yards, so rolling out an extra 4 yards. And this is the place where, for me, I would not want to choose that distance golf ball. I want to have that extra bit of control where it comes down to me knowing how hard to hit the golf ball to get the ball to land the distance I want it to, and then allow me to have the control over when that golf ball is going to stop. If I'm having to land the golf ball a long way short of my target and then guess the bounce and roll it's going to get, it just takes a little bit of control out of my hand and leaves it up a bit more to luck. What you'll notice is when we look at that higher spinning shot, so the shot where I try to add a little bit of extra spin, is a bit more of a skilled shot. It's a harder shot for me to hit as well, and it's one where I get more inconsistent results, but it is an option that I like to have if I need it. You'll notice that the ball did spin more with the TP5 again. It stopped quicker, and in fact, if you would have seen the shots on screen, some of them were slightly backing up a little bit compared to the distance plus ball where it was stopping quicker, but it was using the height to do that because the spin rate didn't change at all. One other thing to note is those spin rates are indoors on a perfect lie where there's no moisture, no grass getting between the club face. Where those things add variation, they also take spin away from me. And if we're taking spin away from me outdoors, again, I'm losing that control that I had. It just again leaves a bit too much room open to variation. If I have to choose one from the indoor data, I'm definitely going for the more premium golf ball. I want that control when it comes to the short game, whilst not losing anything when it comes to the long game either. If I had to use the distance golf ball, because that's all there was, it's all I could afford, it's the only option available to me, 100% would still happily play golf, have a lot of fun. I would just have to adjust to the different ball flight, to the different results that I'm getting, and just accept that sometimes it's going to be down to luck or a bounce here and there, resulting in my scores being maybe a little bit more varied. What I want to do now is I want to take these golf balls out on the golf course and see if what we're seeing inside is something that we see outdoors, and whether actually there is any difference in terms of overall result when it comes to actual golf, not just indoor golf. Come outside now to see what the differences we saw inside mean for us outside. Now, we're going to play a couple of holes, obviously see what happens when we try and play golf with these golf balls. Hitting driver first, so not expect to see any difference between either of these golf balls, just like we saw inside. It's going to be down to me and how I strike it. So let's get into it, see how we play. Whoa, that's a good one to start off with. Two very similar shots off the club face, not the most amazing swings, but good results. Let's go see how they finished. Come to the golf balls now, so they're kind of in the same spot here. In fact, they're almost identical. Not too far between them, and they both missed the bunker, so that must make them both very good golf balls. So as you saw there, both balls ended up pretty much the same spot. I've picked up the one from just beside or slightly in front of the bunker. That was the TP5, and this is the distance ball. They were both landed and stopped pretty much exactly where they are. In fact, the pitch mark for the distance ball is right there. So not a lot of difference in distance, and not a lot of difference in run either. Now indoors, this is kind of the distance we saw the biggest difference, where the cover of the TP5, the premium ball, performed better than the cover of the distance ball. And I say the cover because this is typically the distance where only the cover would interact with the club face, and that more premium cover just giving us a bit more versatility when it came to shots around the green. One thing to note is that we're still kind of in winter golf mode here, so our greens are a little bit softer than they would be normally, and also the fairways are closed, so I'll be taking the golf ball to the rough, so that may affect some spin rates, but overall shouldn't really take away from the differences we should find between the two golf balls, if any at all. Let's do this. I'm going to play them both in the same spot. If I don't hit one well, I will hit another one, just trying to make it as fair as possible. If I hit them equally as bad, I'll just keep it as is, because then it's down to the golf ball and how it performs, not me. Oh, didn't quite hit it hard enough. Landed a little short of the green and rolled on up. TP5 premium ball now. I'm expecting this to be a little bit lower if I strike it okay, and maybe just stop a bit faster with some spin. Oh! That nearly went in, and I'm not going to say it was the ball, because obviously I learned a little bit from having played the shot prior to that one. Overall, not a lot of difference that I could visually see between those two shots. The result was the main thing that's different there, and I think that's down to me learning something from the first one. Let's go to the next hole. I'm not going to worry about putting. Putting wise, they're not going to perform any different, I shouldn't expect. They might just feel a little bit different coming off the putter face. So our first tee shots, you can see there's a little slight difference, maybe 5 to 7 yards difference between the two golf balls. This one here closest to the camera is the distance ball. The one over there is the TP5. Okay, so after those two drives, got 110 yards left of the flag. I've got a camera up there on near the green to try and hopefully capture the balls landing on the green and seeing how they react. That does rely on me hitting it close-ish or close enough to be able to see it on camera, but I'll do my best for you. This is one area I'm very interested to see how the golf balls differ, because this is me taking a bit of speed off a club, trying to hit it a bit lower. So I want to see if the distance ball retains enough spin that I don't just get a flyer that goes way too far and is kind of uncontrollable. I'm going to start off with the TP5 first so that it's fair. I don't get to practice with it first before hitting the next shot. We'll see how we go. Slightly into the wind off the left. I'm going to be quite aggressive here for the camera. I'm going to go at the flag, or hopefully somewhere near the flag. Pushed it slightly. Should be good distance though. Oh, it's spinning. Not sure that helped me all that much on that shot. Distance ball now. I've cleaned my club as well so that I've not got any stuff between club face and ball, except for what's going to be there as I hit the shot. And just like I said earlier, the greens will be slightly softer than they would be in high summer. So I'm curious to see if this nullifies some of the effect of the lower spinning distance ball at all, or whether it makes no difference whatsoever. Hit that okay. It's definitely not as pushed, that's for sure. I'm interested to see if it got that on camera up the top by the green there, because I hit that pretty good. I didn't push as much as I pushed the TP5. Gone a lot further and it's run on a little bit as well. So potentially that less spin kind of cost me there where I needed it, like I did with the TP5, to bring the ball back actually closer to the hole instead of having it run on. It might be something I could get used to if I was playing this golf ball more often. And just see how it goes for the rest of the round. Let's move on. Just coming up to the green here, you can see the TP5 here closest to us on screen, and the distance ball a bit further up. Let's have a look and see where they sort of pitched and how they reacted as we got there. This is the TP5. Yep, TP5. and it's spun 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paces back. I will repair that pitch mark in a moment. And then we've got up here the distance ball, which actually stopped pretty quick, to be fair to it. Landed up there and spun back all of 1 pace. Okay, 156 yards, which is going to be a little 9-iron for me. So this is kind of the shot we hit indoors with the 9-iron. Just like drive, I'm not really expecting to see a lot of difference here depending on how I strike the golf ball. So this part will come down to me. Be interesting to see how it reacts when it lands and how if we see any differences in ball flight as well. So I'm going to go distance ball first. I'm not going to be too aggressive with this one because that flag is tucked tight to the bunker and I want to try and get the ball on the green. Oh, I've been very aggressive. That's gone exceptionally high. Oh, it's hit the bunker. That's a shame. I'll have to hit another one. TP5. It's also aggressive, but not quite as high. That one landed somewhere near on the green. Going to hit another one with the distance ball just to see if there's any actual difference, because that one did land on the green, that TP5. Alright, distance ball again. I'm going to check my aim on this one because I have missed the green to the right both times. Let's see if I can get that club pointing a little bit straighter. That's better. I'm interested to see how that reacts when it lands. Yeah, it seems to spin back a little bit actually, to be fair. Final test now. We're going to be 55 yards from the flag. As you can see, there's a bunker directly between me and the flag here. So I'm going to have to try and judge my distance really well. This would be the situation where I play that higher spinning shot that I talked about indoors. And I want to see how both golf balls react, because for me, this is an area where I want to have all the control. I need to be able to know that when I hit it, if I can hit the distance right, I want the ball to do what I want when it gets to the other end. Going to hit 3 shots with each ball, starting off with the TP5. And yeah, let's see what comes of it. I'll clean my club in between each shot just to make sure it's fair and make sure there's no gunk between golf ball and club face to give me the best results possible. Going to do my best here not to chicken out as well. I'll try and be as aggressive as possible and see how we get on. Oh, that's chickened out. Should be alright though. That stopped a bit short. Distance ball now. All my divots will be replaced, don't worry about that. It's gone a lot higher. Okay, I can't see it from here, but I'm going to assume that's pretty good. That's got some more zip on it. Might be a little long, but it felt like it had a lot of spin on it, so I hope you'll see that on the camera up by the green there, hopefully. Oh, not my best strike. Actually, I don't think I hit that too badly after sort of thinking about it. I think I just caught a bit of the divot in front of me there, and the club sort of felt like it twisted in my hands a bit. But the ball reacted okay, so either that's a really good ball, or I didn't hit it as bad as I thought it did. Last of the TP5s. It's gone a lot higher than I expected it to, but that should be pretty close. Last one, it's distance ball. How's this going to perform? It's come off quite nice. It's definitely higher, that ball. So I can't see it again from this angle, but I'm going to assume it's stopping quite quickly with that extra height. Let's get up to the green and sort of see the results. Okay, so pretty good collection of shots, to be honest. I don't know how they reacted. I'll have to review the video when I get the chance to. But I am curious to see how that distance ball performed when it landed, and how quickly it stopped. Let's have a look and see which ones are closest. So I've got the 2 TP5s here are the closest, and then the 2 distance ones are slightly further away. Now, I mean, that's performed really well, hasn't it, to be fair? It's not using the, well, again, I can't see how they landed, so I'm assuming it's not using the spin to stop, it's using land angle to stop there, and it's performed very well. That wraps up a really interesting test for me. I really enjoyed that. I learnt quite a bit, actually. The golf balls performed very similarly, especially on the longer shots, which we kind of expected if you look at the data that we saw inside, and even on those half shots and the slightly shorter shots, distance ball performed really well. Now, a couple of caveats to add to that. It's still winter time, so the greens are very soft. Potentially, that's helping the golf ball in its stopping power, and I'm also hitting the golf ball out of the rough, so maybe there's some things there that would change if we did this test again in summer, or off shorter grass out of the fairways when the greens are firmer. Overall, that's a fantastic golf ball for the value. For me, I'm always going to choose the premium golf ball because I want that control that I had with the TP5 in my hands. I want to be able to know that when I ask the ball to do something, it's going to do it, and I felt like I had that more with the TP5 than the Distance Plus. So one thing that may not come through in the video is that the TP5 distance control wise was fantastic. It tended to land the distance I wanted it to, and it kind of stopped within reason of that distance. It may have hurt me on one shot where it spun back a little bit too much, but it landed pin high, so it went the distance I wanted to. The approach play in golf is the biggest separator between handicaps and between tour professionals. So if I have a golf ball that is giving me better distance control, that's going to improve my approach play. That's going to help me lower my scores. That's all from me for now. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about in this video, please post them in the comments down below. If you'd like me to try this test again in summer, also pop it down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll see you again soon.